This episode of Another Happy Pod is going to contain spoilers. If you've not experienced the content yourself, please go ahead and do so before coming back and listening to the boys ramble on about it. Thank you very much.
Holy podcast, it's Batman. Hello, welcome welcome to another Happy Pod. Let me just do this intro. In a world where hatred is monetized and toxicity thrives, like the Riddler on Twitch or whatever, we would rather talk about stuff we like in the realm of pop culture. We don't always succeed with that, but no matter what, we always try to keep things just a little bit more lighthearted and fun. This is another Happy Pod, which I probably already mentioned. My name is Nathan, I probably didn't mention that, and I'm here with Lawrence, who is in fact a...
Can we stop this? Because when you edit it as well, you don't take it out, you don't bleep it anymore. You just can't be arsed with it.
No, it's too much work.
Well, then don't do it. Don't present the problem.
Welcome to the show, Lawrence. Thanks for coming, I guess.
Cheers, man. Thanks for the invite. This is kind of weekly at this point, and maybe it should become some sort of permanent fixture. Yeah, but thank you for having me. How have you been? How's your week?
It's been like 2 days since we last recorded, so it's been fine, I guess. We watched a movie.
We did. When did I watch this movie? I watched this movie when it came out, Friday, I believe.
I watched this movie yesterday.
just obligatory dates that mean nothing to the listener because they don't know when it is. They don't. This come out Friday. Maybe they're like, "How are you watching it and recording this at the same time?" I'm in the film now. Everyone in the cinema has turned to me. I've got my mic set up, and they're like, "Please stop." And I'm like, "No."
These are all great riffs.
Thank you.
Yeah, should we just get into it?
The Batman.
The
2022 was supposed to be 2021.
And a little bloody thing called COVID-19 happened.
Yeah. I reckon we should just veer off now and just talk exclusively about COVID-19 instead.
I don't want to do that.
That's true. Robert Pattinson. It was a controversial choice, but he is Bruce Wayne.
I mean, people say that. I don't think he was.
No, I think he was for anyone that doesn't like anything not done by Zack Snyder or is not Ben Affleck anymore.
But who gives a fuck about them anyway? Anyone was going to be a controversial choice for them. So
yeah, true.
People like... When Robert Pattinson was cast, everyone was like, people only saying fucking Twilight, but he's actually quite good. I saw like thousands and thousands and thousands of tweets of people praising and defending Robert Pattinson. Didn't see a single one of people just like absolutely dragging him to hell. No, I didn't.
I saw maybe my timeline is a lot more toxic than yours. I saw a fair few people like, "Whoa, this is a bit of a risky choice. Let's see if he pulls it out the bag." And obviously, you'll get those YouTube commenters that are like, "Guys, I've seen Twilight. This is not a good choice." And I'm like, 10 years ago, and also his performance in Twilight, whether you like the film or not, is still good.
Yeah, he's good in Twilight. Just because the movie's bad doesn't mean that he is.
It's like, I always see that argument. It's like Kristen Stewart can't act. I'm like, if you've read the book, you know how well she can act from this film.
Kristen Stewart's an amazing actress.
She's so talented, and so is Robert Pattinson.
Yeah.
Can I, without asking your opinion straight away, can I get your take on something that you've been on record as saying?
Okay, sure.
Were you excited for, and I quote from you, another gritty, grounded Batman movie?
So I was actually going to start off by saying that, look, I know how this movie has been presented through the marketing. It's not shied away. It's not trying to hide the fact that it is gritty and it's grounded and it's like another more realistic approach to Batman. That's not necessarily something I've wanted. I've said that many times. I'd much rather have something more fantastical when it comes to Batman, something that isn't afraid to embrace the comic book side of things. That's just personally what I prefer when it comes to Batman. And so I knew going into this that the movie wasn't that. So I didn't think it would be fair to necessarily judge the movie based on that, because like we said it before on this pod, we said it the other week. You can't, well, you can, but you shouldn't judge a movie on what it's not. You should judge it on what it is. So
Yeah.
there's no point of me just going into this movie and like sitting there with my arms crossed and be like, oh, but it's not, it's not what I want, so therefore it's bad. That's not the case. So
I'm just picturing there's a bomb that goes off at a very crucial moment in a scene, and it doesn't come. The text graphic doesn't come up going bang, and you're like, this is bollocks. I fucking hate Batman.
But yeah, so I knew it wasn't that, and I knew going into it that wasn't that. So my thoughts on this movie, my whatever feelings I may have on this movie, that is not an indication of them. I have not let that sway my judgment one way or the other.
Okay. You're gearing that up for the fact that you may not be too positive about this. I'm scared, but we'll get.
Well,
into
what
it.
did you think of the movie?
So, like you, like I'm of the opinion that like there are certain things I'd like to see in Batman, and it's definitely certain stuff that we're not getting. Like I would like to see a bit more, like you say, a bit more fantastical. Like I want to see embracing the dumb side a little bit more, because like gone are the times where like I think people that enjoy film have evolved beyond Batman and Robin is bad because it's camp and stupid. It's now just like that's dumb and fun, but it's fun.
I mean, don't get me wrong, Batman and Robin is a bad movie, but I'm not even necessarily talking that. Like, you can do Robin and have it not be. I'd fucking love nothing more than for Robin to be in these Batman movies, because he's genuinely one of my favorite characters, and Batman is always so much more interesting when he has a Robin. And I think you can do a Robin without resorting to holy cow Batman, here we go, and all that sort of shit. You don't have to make it like colorful and campy and fun and all that sort of stuff. You can just add more fantastical elements, but still, keep the same tone and stuff.
It sounds dumb and like as a comparison, but I have never got behind the you can't do Robin in live action argument ever since I saw Hit Girl in Kick-Ass.
Exactly, yeah.
Because it's on the nose and it is a bit more silly than a Batman adaptation would probably do, but it's very easily possible. And Hit Girl in Kick-Ass was probably one of the best parts of the movie. So
yeah, probably.
Yeah, but anyway, no, this movie. So right, I went in. I like Batman, and since on this podcast, actually, you made me watch all the Planet of the Apes movies. I was quite a fan of Matt Reeves. And like everything I saw from the marketing in this to the trailers, I was like, oh, okay, yeah, I'm kind of getting into this. I really enjoyed it. It does have flaws. There are some things in it which made me go a little bit like, okay. But for the most part, I'd say like I'm 85% on board with this movie. Like I really enjoyed it. And if you were to stretch that 85% into like where I dropped off, like it's probably chronological as well. Like the last 15% of this movie, I was like, okay, come on now. Come on. But yeah, no, what about you?
It's hard to know where to begin. The Batman Batman in general is a character that I'm tired of. Okay, this is like what, the fucking like 27th movie or some shit.
I think it's the 14th.
Okay, that's a lot though. That's a lot, and I am just very exhausted with not only DC's but also like kind of comic book fans in general, just obsession with Batman, and just being like, and I've said it before, I've said it on this podcast, Batman is a Mary Sue, like Batman's contingency plan and he can solve anything because he's Batman. Get that shit out of here. I hate it all.
Yeah.
So this movie had a lot of work to do for me. And this is probably my favorite Batman movie.
Oh, okay.
I really liked this movie.
Oh my god, you were leading me down a path there. You had me on a fucking fish hook right there. I honestly looked at my timer to keep an eye on the time for the episode. Saw 5 minutes. I was like, it's gonna be a long 35. This. I'm not. I don't. All right, I'll tell you what. This is not a reaction I was expecting. What was your favorite part of it? What did you like?
I really liked Robert Pattinson's take on Batman. I particularly liked his Bruce Wayne and how he's Bruce Wayne is almost non-existent, but that's kind of intentional because he's just he's a fucking recluse and fucking hermit, and he's not a person. Like he's Batman. He's not a
Yeah.
fucking Bruce Wayne doesn't necessarily really exist because he's just completely thrown himself into this life, and therefore like Bruce Wayne has like more or less just completely died. People don't even recognize Bruce Wayne properly. Like it takes them a second in the streets to actually go, "Holy shit, that's Bruce Wayne. He's still alive."
Well,
Because
I'd say people don't recognize him apart from one man by the name of Officer Martinez, who became a bit of a meme on Twitter because they released a clip where he's at the memorial service, and
Yeah.
you know that officer that out of nowhere just goes, "Oh my god, hey, it's Bruce
Yeah.
Wayne," and just waves at him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What a
Yeah,
friendly little guy.
He recognizes him big time. He loves him.
Yeah, he's Bruce Wayne's #1 stan.
But
yeah,
Batman's biggest hater, which is funnily enough, yeah.
yeah. So I like the Bruce Wayne. I like that he's just a fucking like you say, like a really antisocial. He doesn't understand shit. He's clearly a fucking virgin, and I'm not buying for a fact that this man has ever had sex in his life. Like, come on. I really like Zoe Kravitz as Catwoman, Selena Kyle. You put Zoe Kravitz into anything and I'll enjoy it, but she was really good in this.
But you put her into a leather suit and I'll especially enjoy it because
Come on, Lawrence, you fucking creep.
No, I'm saying that because I think there is a sexuality that is associated with that character. Like this is a horny film, and she is probably the horniest part of the film. And I think it's been done well in the past. Like Anne Hathaway killed it, but she didn't have much to do. She was great as a character, but the character was kind of weak, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Have you seen Batman Returns with Michelle Pfeiffer as Catwoman?
Yeah.
Yeah. What do you think of her? Like,
I haven't seen Batman Returns in years, but I do remember her like being shot or something, and then just going 7 more lives. And then even as a kid, I was like, that seems dumb.
yeah, I think if you take out like I'm not the biggest fan of Tim Burton's kind of style or tone anyway. But like if you take Tim Burton out of her portrayal, I think she's a very good Selena Kyle. And she has that element of like tortured sadness in her, which is
But
great.
like, doesn't she? She becomes Catwoman by like falling, and then a load of cats just biting her, doesn't she?
Yeah, it's odd, and it is because it's Tim Burton, and that's
Yeah.
what happens in Halle Berry's Catwoman as well. She gets killed, and then cats go up to her and basically are just around her, and then she's like, "Well, cat powers now." So yeah, this I like it because it kind of goes back to the more probably what people wanted to see from Anne Hathaway's Catwoman, which was world's best cat burglar. Just grew up in Gotham slums, and is just kind of doing her own thing, and then she kind of gets swept up in all of this shit.
She's not even really a cat burglar, though, is she? Like, she breaks into somewhere once, but like her motivations and through the story are like entirely like she's motivated entirely by her friend.
She is, but I think she's a cat burglar outside of this because you don't have proficiency with those specific tools. Like she got in and she knew what she was doing. I think just because we haven't seen it doesn't mean she's not. But yeah.
Fair enough.
A point of criticism in this that a lot of people have seen online is what you just said you really liked, which was the absence of the facade of Bruce Wayne, the character. You know, like I just bought this hotel kind of Bruce Wayne type.
I don't necessarily think like the party boy, playboy, all that kind of shit, billionaire would necessarily fit with this style. Like I said, this is a universe that, you know, for better or worse, whatever you think about it, it is like granted, it is more dark and gritty approach. This Gotham, but I fucking love the Gotham as well.
Oh,
my
isn't it
God.
good?
Oh, it's so good. The amount I've said it like so many times. Like Gotham needs to have a personality. It can't just be New York. I mean, it can just be New York or Chicago, but then it's boring. But this is the like the Art Deco style and the giant buildings and everything.
This for me hits the balance of like
Yeah.
Gotham before has either been done as New York but dirty or New York but dirtier, or fucking cesspool of ridiculousness Arkham style games where you just don't believe that anyone lives there. This is like the perfect balance where you believe that people live here and you actually feel terrible that they live here because it's fucking horrible.
Yeah, it's a really great depiction of Gotham. I really do like it. But yeah, I don't necessarily think like Christian Bale version of Bruce Wayne would necessarily fit in here. It makes more sense that he's like a recluse and he's gonna focus on Batman, and that's really it. He's not giving himself a life because he just wants to focus on Batman, and he's also quite new at it as well. He's like 2 years in or whatever, so it makes sense that he'd want to, he'd let this consume him and wouldn't really make much time for much else, really.
One thing I like, it's just sort of on the vein of that, is this is the first Batman iteration, to my knowledge, where it's seen as like not the last ditch effort, but it's seen as Bruce Wayne doesn't seem completely batshit insane in this. He's a guy that's like, I'm gonna try this and see if it works. Like he keeps a diary called like the Gotham Project. Like he takes, like, he writes his diary. We get the film bookended with voiceovers about the impact that he's having on the city, and it actually feels like there's a purpose behind what he's doing rather than just going out to beat up people because he's had a bad life. And one thing that I loved about this is that purpose is clearly wrong. It's and the kind of the lesson learned, which is kind of bubbling under the surface for the whole time until the end. The lesson is learned that going out and beating the living fuck out of people that do graffiti is not the way to cure Gotham's problems. Gotham needs real change, and it needs to like prove that the people need to trust in the new leaders, and Batman needs to provide hope. And vengeance is wrong. It should be about aiding and further assisting.
Yeah, agreed.
I was really counting on us disagreeing for a lot of this. Like, I was genuinely like, it's not that I thought that you would hate this, but I was like, I think you're going to find more problems with it than me.
I didn't really. I have very few problems with it. Don't get me wrong, I do have some, but I have very few problems. One thing I was almost convinced that I was going to say, and I'm so glad we didn't. There's no fucking hint of an origin story. There's not even a whiff of it. I don't need to see Martha and fucking Thomas being gunned down and down. I've seen it more times than I've had fucking hot meals. I don't need it anymore.
We saw it like 3 years ago in Joker for no reason. It's become superheroes' most irritating trope. People say Uncle Ben dies a lot. No. Martha and Thomas Wayne exist to be slaughtered in cinema.
Exactly.
Ridiculous.
Like when this movie opened and you see like like a nice fancy house and a couple playing with their son, their young childhood son is in like kind of like a Zorro-esque outfit. I was like, oh, for fuck's sake, here we go. Here we fucking go. But I mean, that's clearly intentional. That's like clearly what fucking Matt Reeves wanted you to think. And then like, oh no, this isn't the case. This isn't the Waynes. This isn't Thomas and Martha or whatever. It's actually already modern day. Sort of Batman is already Batman. You don't need to see him training with like the League of Shadows. Or I feel like in this he didn't do that. It seems like he was just training with Alfred.
It kind of is alluded by that, isn't it? Like,
yeah,
Alfred has that line as like, I wasn't a father. I could teach you how to fight, but beyond that, like,
But I did like that kind of like red herring beginning, because like I said, I was a little bit worried at first, but then as things go on, and you realize it's the Riddler there, and then just that shot, like when like I think the mayor just turns or something, and then you just see him in the background, like totally obscured by darkness, but then you can just like see his eyes, kind of. It's like that's horror movie shit right there, and it was really fucking good. It was a really good introduction to this fucking serial killer version of the Riddler.
I am all for the return of horror tropes being introduced in modern day blockbusters. Like No Time to Die did it, where Safin Madeline moves away from the window and Safin's blurred snow-suited up figure is just there holding a gun, like, and that's a jump. That's a jump. Yeah, like there seems to be a return of these, and I'm all for it, because I was in the cinema watching that, and I went, like, it's not a jump scare, but it's a sudden.
It makes you feel uneasy.
Yeah, you should notice it before you do, and then you go, oh fuck, how long's he been there?
Yeah,
and it makes you kind of scared of him subconsciously almost. It's crazy.
Yeah, and it is really good as well. This is a very different take on the Riddler. Riddler is usually like, green suits with question marks all over them. It's riddle me this, Batman, and
Yeah.
all this sort of stuff. Think Jim Carrey, but don't, because again, that's bad.
It's more like Zodiac Killer. This one.
It is.
Like,
it's very Zodiac influenced. It's a lot of different stuff, but it's a really, again, a lot more grounded and realistic approach, which usually I don't like. But for this story, it just really works. Having this kind of like fucked up kind of an incel, he's streaming on the dark web or whatever.
Yeah. We'll definitely get to the 4chan and Reddit. The 4chan and Reddit disses in this movie, which definitely I don't know. I think there's some silly bits, but it was kind of funny.
There are some silly bits. One thing let me just mention quickly. I've said how much I want more than anything to have a Robin in these movies, and I feel like they were kind of teasing it. I feel like they were kind of teasing it at certain moments because, with a kid, because when fucking Batman, when he goes to this, it's great seeing Batman just in a room full of cops as well. I don't know why I find that so funny, but I do. But when he's just walking around the crime scene and then he's like leaving, and then you see the kid there and he's dressed in like a red hoodie, I was like, that's not a coincidence. Come on, that cannot be a red hood. Are you kidding me? And then like that kid keeps popping up throughout the movie as well, and like Bruce saves him a couple of times and stuff. I was like, is something going on here? Is this going to be a new Dick Grayson or whatever? I'm here for it. If it is, I'd fucking love it. More than anything, I'd like Robin to be an actual kid and not like a 30-year-old man. But
I think that's the key to it. Like, if they can get a young actor that's talented enough to pull off like a Dick Grayson from an early age, and then like.
They don't even need to do Dick Grayson. They could just go straight to Jason Todd or something, and I'd be fine with it.
Yeah, any Robin, I'm fine with at this point. Just someone that isn't Joseph Gordon fucking Levitt. I saw online, and I don't know where I am on this, like in terms of where I sit with it. But you know the kids that's in a lot of the marketing. He's in like one of the gangs at the beginning. He's got like half his face is white makeup. He's the only one that seems a bit like
the subtle Joker gang member who is very subtle because he has half his face obscured in that he was only half into the gang life but didn't really want to get into it.
Yeah, the really subtle kind of thing.
Subtle visual imagery. Yeah, I get it.
Yeah, of course. I've seen theories that he might potentially become a Robin.
But he seems too old.
He does, but I feel like that's where Warner Brothers would draw the line if they were going to give us a Robin. You remember, right? It's the Shazam problem. You cast a child, and if it takes you 3 years to do the sequel, and then a year of marketing, that child now looks so much fucking older than they should.
That is going to be an issue. That is absolutely going to be an issue. But I'd still rather have just at least fucking one movie with an actual child, because I feel like you can't have Batman and Robin and have them be the same height. It just doesn't work.
like Batman Forever, Batman and Robin,
just
a
35-year-old
exactly. Man.
You need someone who's clearly fucking shorter than Batman, and they're someone clearly a lot younger. That actor, I did enjoy, the small amount of time he was on screen, and I honestly did have that thought as well. I was like, this could potentially work, but he's too old. It needs to be like a 13, 14-year-old kid or something. And because that's what's more fucked up. Robin is a fucked up character, as in like mentally, because he's been a child soldier by this fucking insane madman dad that he has. It's not good for him, and that's something I'd kind of like to explore as well. That kind of fucked up relationship that they have as well.
It works for the movie, but it won't work for them. It's worth considering that this is the youngest take on Batman we've ever seen.
It is, yeah.
So, like, the kid they cast will have to be younger by a result of that, if they're ever going to do Robin.
And I really hope they will. I think Robert Pattinson said he'd like that as well.
He said he'd only agree to do a Robin. I don't know if this was just fucking press junket bollocks or not. But apparently he's been quoted saying he'd only do a Robin if it was a child Robin and not a man in his early 20s Robin.
Yeah.
like
No,
a youth orphan who's like, oh man, since I was 17, I lost my parents.
yeah, you're a
But
grown
yeah,
ass man. Go away. Get a
yeah,
job.
exactly. You pay taxes. You pay taxes. You're not robbing.
Exactly, yeah. But yeah, more than anything, that's what I want to see. More than anything, please give me that, and I'll be happy.
What did you like about or if you liked it? They make a very different choice in this to show us Batman's parents, Bruce Wayne's parents, were not perhaps the shining white knight figures we
Yeah.
think them to be from the comics, i.e., more so Thomas than Martha. I don't think they'll ever victimize Martha because that's a lot of Bruce's torture kind of shit and trouble with relationships as well. Um, but to kind of change the origin of Thomas and make him not, I would argue, not a bad person like Bruce initially thinks he is, but a man that very clearly made a mistake that Bruce would never have made.
So I liked this, and because and I'm just going to call you a fake fan here because you are a fake fan, because this has been done in comics before.
Has it?
Yeah, one of my favorite Batman comics is a storyline called Hush, which is actually like kind of referenced at one point in
I
this
haven't read
movie.
Hush.
It's a really good storyline, and that deals with like sort of like the sins of the father kind of stuff, and how Thomas Wayne wasn't really as great of a man as he's like necessarily made out to be, and he like has a bit of a shady past and all that sort of stuff,
Hmm.
and is kind of influenced throughout this movie a little bit. It goes in like a much different path from where Hush ends up because Hush is like a completely different character. He's a different villain to the Riddler. But there's elements of that storyline throughout it and stuff. And yeah, so I enjoyed seeing those influences come in here. And there's kind of been some like changes. Like I don't think Martha Arkham has ever been a thing before because that's like I'm picking up on that, right? That's right. They made her an Arkham.
I think the closest that's ever happened to that is the Flashpoint Martha that goes insane after Bruce dies.
No, but like the
Um,
fact that her family is the Arkhams, like her
oh, as in
family.
like the actual, yeah. No,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
the founding. What was Martha one of them, or was she a
I don't
founding?
think so.
Was that the
I don't think
the?
that's ever been a thing. No, I don't think her family have ever really been anyone of note from what I'm familiar with. I mean, there's like fucking 80 years of history, so maybe. But from what I'm familiar with, I don't think so. I've
There's too
never
much.
known.
There's too much Batman to keep up.
I'm almost certain she's definitely never been known as Arthur Arkham. Martha Arkham.
Martha Arkham. That's fucking hard. Like,
Yeah.
if I was Thomas, I would have married her just so the name changed, so it would be easier to say her name.
The
Um,
Arkhams are an old like Gotham family who obviously like set up the asylum and that sort of thing. The asylum does have like a very long history in Gotham, but I don't think it's ever been tied to Martha like that. So that's interesting. That's something
No,
new.
yeah, no, that is cool, and I think this movie did a lot of like it's interesting because I'd never read Hush, so it's interesting that was an influence because this movie is I think it takes bits from so many popular Batman comics. Like you've
It
got
does. It's got like quite a lot of year one.
yeah,
It's
Year
got
One, Long
Long
Halloween,
Halloween. Yeah.
The Holiday Killer was
Yeah.
it was on Halloween that the mayor got murdered in this. Yeah, there's loads of shit in this it's kind of wild, but it's still somewhat feeling like a very new, fresh Bruce Wayne interpretation, which is really cool. So like
Yeah.
it I think that's the perfect way to pay homage, but also give us a very fresh new interpretation.
Yeah,
Um,
it's taken influences from like all these like different source materials. These great stories and stuff, but it's crafting it's taken all those and like crafting its own narrative with it,
yeah,
which really worked. I also really liked fucking Colin Farrell as well in this.
yeah,
He was
he's
kind of out
great.
of place in this world. Not totally actually. He kind of worked for it, but he was really good, and I liked this version of the Penguin. This like
I th- I think he was
mobster.
dipping a toe
Yeah,
into not being part of the world, but he was so firmly rooted in it that it
yeah,
worked. Like he's where a lot of the humor comes from in this. But the
yes,
movie, when he's not on screen, the movie's not humorless.
yeah. There's some good jokes. Yeah,
But one thing I really like about this as well is Matt Reeves is so immersed in Batman being a real character that, and it's the kind of the only thing I didn't really like about the Dark Knight is there's a lot of A man dressed as a bat. This guy's clearly got issues. He dresses like a bat. I think
Yeah.
I'd notice if I was running around dressing like a bat, like a crazy guy. Okay, it's a dumb costume, but
Yeah.
it's now so dumb and so iconic that just take it seriously at this point. Like,
Yeah.
it's you have to believe it in the world, otherwise it doesn't come across as real.
I don't think there's anyone. I don't think that's ever like mentioned in this. I don't think at any point anyone's like, guy dressed like a bat here or whatever. That's pretty weird. They're just like, all right, this
They
is
call
a
him
thing.
yeah,
They call him a freak. They're like clearly uncomfortable with it, but they're never like, whoa, what's going on? It's just like,
yeah.
all right, well, this is
The
a
thing
thing
I
that's
love in
happening.
this, the thing I love in this is that the cops take more offense to him being a vigilante than being a guy that dresses as a bat.
Yeah,
Like they take way
Which
more
they should.
offense to, yeah, and definitely so. Like he's a man has to come in to do their jobs for them and put them to shame essentially.
Yeah.
And half are on board and half are not. There is a very
not even that. One's on board.
no, I don't know. There's a few because there is a bit of a I don't want to say propaganda scene, but there is a bit of a
Propaganda.
yeah. I guess not all cops are dirty moment.
Yeah.
And I was a little bit like, no, you can't. It seems a bit out of taste. Okay, but
Yeah.
but other than that, it was like I pretty much loved how the GCPD were portrayed in this.
I love the GCP building as well. Again, going back to, ridiculous Art Deco style Gotham, the fact that it's just this huge fucking building in the middle of the city.
Yeah.
And also what I did like is, that scene where he just fucking clocks Gordon and then he just legs it out of the building.
Yeah, yeah,
The fact that the fucking cops are so dumb, they're just straight up unloading on him while people are just walking by and just doing
Yeah.
their regular jobs, and they're just fucking shooting randomly at this man as well. Like, yeah, no thoughts about like how a bullet might accidentally hit someone. No, just
yeah.
Fucking
A
good.
ricocheted bullet off a glass panel or anything like it.
Yeah.
You kill so many people doing this shit. But I think that's also like everything about this is kind of a clear engineered choice by Matt Reeves. Like the police aren't good in this.
no.
And that's the point. They're terrible. Like the only one that's actually trying to make a go of it is Jim Gordon, and whilst he's a great, and Batman even says it, he's a good cop. It's a case of what can one man do against a fucking city, and
he's
that's
still, and in like true Gordon fashion, he's still weighed down by the system as well. Like he has to operate outside of the system with Batman's assistance because he's weighed down by it, and there's certain stuff that he can't really do because of like the the red tape and shit, which is why Bruce is there in the first place.
Yeah.
And yeah, one thing I liked is, again, going back to Penguin, the scene where, there's the riddle throughout, the rat with wings riddle throughout, and the scene where he's just like, no habla español, and he's
yeah. It's
That was
clever.
very
It's funny.
Yeah.
It's what I liked about this is like I often think for these stories, like to approach it as a writer, I'm like, God, you must be so clever to have to write these riddles and then write like you're not only are you remembering character, but you're also remembering plot and like I don't know, a mandated amount of screen time you have to work in for certain characters, and also the actual riddles and how is it going to take the world's greatest detective 20 minutes of screen time to figure it out because we need that time to rest a minute, like.
Or does he just instantly know every riddle that's ever put to him?
Yeah, basically. Yeah, so there are some scenes where Batman is like he basically just has a computer brain and does it.
Yeah.
But then there's other scenes where it takes him a while to figure out. But I like the red herring that some of the riddles are not meant to be interpreted literally. So even if there were like those smug pricks in the cinema that were like, oh, that's obviously a river or something like that, like it would be there are like the URL thing. Like that was
genius. Funny. That was funny.
Yeah.
That was hilarious. When he
It's
typed
good.
in URL, I was like,
You
I don't know.
motherfucker.
I just laughed loudly because
Yeah.
I was like, well done, you got me. Well done.
and thumb drive, like it's clever, it's funny, and that's what I love about the humor in this is it doesn't slow down, but it's actually propelling the plot as well, like it moves things forward, which is really cool. But yeah,
Very cool. I like it. Very swag. yeah, Penguin is very fun. I'm excited to see more of him. I think he's getting like his own series or something, isn't he?
Yeah, I don't know where I sit on that. Like,
Yeah,
I don't know. But then again, I said that about Peacemaker, and that became one of my like favorite superhero shows.
it's
So
true. Yeah, yeah. I
I
mean,
think under the right hands, it could go well.
Colin Farrell could sell it. So like, as long as well, obviously he'll be involved, but as long as he's involved, then should be
Yeah.
all right. Yeah. So, what did you think of the Batmobile?
Do you mean do you mean the 70s muscle car with a rocket on its ass?
Yes, I do.
Yeah. I liked it. I think it's the best Batmobile chase we've ever had.
It,
Um,
yeah. It felt a little slow at times. I
You
don't,
think?
yeah, I don't know. Like when it was kind of like weaving in and out of traffic, I feel like they're going 20 miles an hour here. I don't know. There was something about the way it was shot where it just felt kind of slow and didn't feel necessarily that exciting until it like built up towards the end. But the car itself, I love the car. I
Yeah.
really like the car itself. The fact that it's not a ridiculous fucking tank.
Yeah.
Is something I enjoy.
It's not a tank, and it's also not the dumbest, longest, most impractical car.
See,
in the
I would
movie.
rather have a big, long, dumb car as well.
What, like the Keaton Batmobile?
Yes, I love them.
terrible.
No, I like them. I like it. Strike a middle ground or something, but I do like the big, long cars as well.
I do like the idea that like it's not obviously in the movie, but it's kind of like I think the idea behind this Batmobile is Bruce had to order a car that wouldn't look suspicious, and then when it got there, he was like, "Alfred, make this very fast." And he's like, "Very good, Master Wayne. I'll put a rocket on its ass, and that'll do."
Exactly. Yeah.
You know Woody in Toy Story at the end when he's
Yeah.
chasing the moving van. It reminded me of that.
That's very true. Yeah. Did he? Did he seem like he stalled it at one point? Like
I thought he did. Yeah.
Yeah. Like when the chase was just beginning, he was revving it up, doing the old Batman intimidation thing and all that sort of stuff, and then he just stalled it. Like
I didn't know if that was supposed to be like a false start, like a "oh, you better run" kind of
yeah,
thing.
like a flinch and all got you sort of thing.
Yeah,
maybe.
but it did seem a lot like he just fucking I don't know, just bit the clutch out on his fucking car and fucked it.
Cut to Batman inside going, oh fuck, let me just.
Master, no, was it Alfred on the comms like that was very embarrassing, Master Wayne.
Yeah.
What do you think of Alfred in this?
Oh, I really liked him.
Yeah.
Really liked him. I've always liked to have a bit more depth to the Alfred Bruce relationship, and this like really tapped into it. The fact that kind of off the bat with Alfred, we're dealing straight with him as a father and not as just a butler. That's always the shit I like.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was really good to explore. I liked his kind of like personality. He's not just some butler who just does everything Bruce says. He gives him like a little bit back and forth, which as Alfred always should, I think. And on some of the most powerful and emotional scenes come from him in this movie.
My favorite Batman and Alfred scene ever put on screen is in this film. Yeah, I think the what I absolutely love about this, two things actually. One, this is the first movie I've actually believed that Alfred could have died.
I genuinely thought he had died at one point.
Yeah, I did too. And the other reason I love it is Alfred is actually a core element in Bruce's realization of how wrong his vengeance quest is. Like he says that and it's probably my favorite scene in the movie. At least as a more grounded scene anyway. I loved a lot of the fight stuff. But there's the scene where Bruce is saying, I'm not afraid to die. I've mastered fear. I've mastered all of that. And he takes a look at Alfred's hand, which is just like empty. And there's obviously something about the filmic language that a handhold is going to come.
Yeah.
And Bruce admits to him like the only thing he does fear is losing the people closest to him. And it obviously, as Batman as a character, it just drives home on so many levels, like why he doesn't get close to people, why he's still suffering with the death of his parents. And like why he sees things in black and white, because even like the Thomas and Martha thing, he was like, your dad once made one mistake, and Bruce was like, his legacy's a lie. I'm a fool for thinking my dad was a good man. I'll bring him back from the dead and I'll kill him all over again. And he has to learn to not see shit so fucking black and white, because Gotham is a very complicated place. And I love that scene. That whole scene is great.
I love that scene too. I actually cried while I was watching it because it was very emotional, and both of them did it really well. Yeah, I love that. This scene as well is pointing to why I want a Robin, why Batman is so much more interesting when he has a Robin, because it's the building. This is like the start of building the Bat family. Alfred is an integral part of the family, as is Robin. The more like people he surrounds himself with, the more people he lets into his family, the more vulnerable he is, the more at risk he is, and then the more fucking interesting he is as well as a character. And it's so good when he does allow himself to grow and allow himself to be vulnerable for these people. And then, spoiler alert for a fucking like 30, 40-year-old comic, when Jason Todd gets fucking rinsed, killed by the Joker in Arkham Asylum with a crowbar, it's fucking brutal. It's oh, there's like we saw shades of that in Batman v Superman, but as usual, it was silos over substance and nothing really ever committed to. But the fact that he raised a son, and then because of what he did, because of the things he made him go through, he was killed. And just the fucking pain and torment it caused him. It's the reverse of what he went through. It's brutal. It's so good, and I'd love more than anything to see it played out. And I think Robert Pattinson would do all that shit really well as well.
Oh, he'd kill it. Yeah,
He
like
would.
that. The thing about this movie, like, it really made me remember, as if I didn't know already, but like Robert Pattinson is a world class performer. Like what he can do with just his eyes in a cowl is so fucking meaningful. Like, there's some really, really good moments in this. Like, he's walking around slowly to take in all the thing, but like you see his eyes just scanning shit, and quite literally, actually, with his little contact lenses.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, what do you think about his little tech, his little contact lenses?
I liked it. Yeah, I did like the tech. Batman should always have like a bit of tech with him. So yeah, I liked all that sort of stuff. It makes sense. Give him the white eyes though, don't you think?
See, I was for it, and then this movie, I just, because half of he's in the cape and cowl for most of the movie.
Yeah,
I would have found it quite difficult to connect. Like,
I see what you're saying. Yeah,
I find it like I know it's like there's different arguments to be made with like expressive eyes from Daredevil, Spider-Man, not Daredevil, sorry, Spider-Man and Deadpool and etc. Like, they're big animated characters, but I think especially this version, the simplicity of having his eyes with the eye makeup on looks great. I think if they were ever going to do the white eyes, then Batfleck would have been, like, the mechanical Batfleck suit would have been the way to go.
Yeah. This probably isn't the universe for the white eyes, to be fair. And Robert Pattinson, you're right, he does do a lot of eye acting, which sells it so well. So yeah, it would be a shame to cover that up. Maybe there's a way they can do it at some point. But no, yeah, that stuff is all really good. I like how he's not doing a ridiculous voice. He's just talking. He's like, no one knows Bruce Wayne anyway, so no one's really good. Bruce Wayne doesn't have a podcast, so like, what does it matter?
And that's one thing I've always thought about Batman is like, how often are the regular criminals of Gotham interacting with Bruce Wayne?
Yeah, exactly.
Hey, you sound like Bruce Wayne. It's not like he goes and does a shitload of interviews and stuff. I don't know. Maybe the other one was kind of. I guess it'll
be on TV or whatever, but like,
yeah, it makes sense for less reclusive Batmans, I think.
Yeah, but for this one, it works. And yeah, he doesn't need to do some silly, ridiculous over the top. He doesn't even need a voice changer. He can just talk, and it's fine. But yeah, I liked all that stuff. I liked Gordon. Jeffrey Wright was really good.
Their relationship between them two is great as well.
Yeah,
like, it's finally just, it's not they meet on a rooftop and that's it. Like, they're actually in the mud, investigating crimes and shit on the ground, boots on together. Like, it's really cool stuff. It's where, like, Batman does walk into a crime scene. It's not, okay, this is what I found in the crime scene on the Batman, but it's a good thing we're on the roof. And then he jumps off the roof and it's like, there's a lot of roof on this.
There is a lot of roof, yeah.
There is a lot of roof.
Yeah.
But there's also, Jim Gordon was in it for a lot longer than I thought he'd be in it, and I was really pleasantly surprised by it.
I thought so too. I feel like the movie kind of sometimes forgot about the Riddler, though. I feel like there was like for like the first half of the movie, there was like quite a bit of Riddler, but then I feel like they just forgot about him. a little while, and then right at the end they were like, "Oh, more Riddler. Let's do that." There kind of seemed to
I
be like a long stretch without him.
I had the same feeling. I think the trouble was when they had to balance Catwoman and the Riddler
Yeah.
because they're on different. They're not on different paths, but Catwoman is
They
way
are.
on the.
They are kind of are because Catwoman's got like her own shit going on, which vaguely links into what is going on with the Riddler, but not like directly.
Well, I think because I think they're doing two different jobs. I think the Riddler is obviously posing the threat for Batman in the movie. He's the poster villain. He's the one the Batman fights at the end.
Yeah.
And then Catwoman is the one that's leading Bruce to self-discoveries and the more internal shit that Bruce needs to process before the end of the movie. So for a lot of, I've seen a lot of people online say this is like a perfectly paced movie, and that's my one flaw with it. Like
I don't think it is.
I don't think it is either. I think
No.
it's brilliant, and I really enjoy it. Well, I think especially the ending, it suffers from multiple ending syndrome big time.
Yeah, it does. It does. I think I don't like the Joker thing. I don't like it. I don't think it's necessary at all. No, nothing against Barry Keoghan. He's a good actor. It just felt very tacked on and pointless.
I saw a Matt Reeves interview, and you might have seen it. It's done the rounds on Twitter recently. But basically, he said, and I can respect where he's coming from. I do disagree as well, though. I've thought about it for a couple of days now, and I'm kind of on the fence. But his opinion is that you know the scene with Catwoman where she was like, "Come out with me, and we'll do the bat and the cat stuff."
Yeah.
And he was like, "No, Gotham is a cesspool of shit, and I'm going to stay here and help." He said that scene, when he took out the Joker kind of cameo type thing, or the intro, he said that scene lost a lot of its dramatic weight because you feel a resolution in Gotham rather than Gotham will always have a weird cunt doing shit.
Yeah.
Whereas I would disagree, and I think even if you took it out, the audience has the prior knowledge of Gotham is half underwater and under martial law. It needs Batman right now.
Yeah, exactly. They did like a whole fucking monologue about how like there's looting and rioting and shit going on, and Gotham needs Batman. So like, I don't necessarily buy into we need to see the Joker to know that there's a threat about. We don't need to see the Joker. We've seen the
I am
Joker a
damn
lot.
near certain it wasn't there, and they said to Matt Reeves, "Put it in."
Yeah,
Put it in the Joker.
it feels very much like a studio mandate that does.
Yeah.
Which would not surprise me at all.
I get the reasoning behind it. Like, to be honest, if I had to take that and then the rest of this movie was untouched by Warner Brothers interference, then fine. Give me a 20-minute Joker scene at the end, and I'll just skip it sometimes.
I feel like the all the Riddlers are here and they're shooting up the stadium. I feel like that was also studio influence as well.
I think he definitely. See, I think that it was studio interference because it definitely seems like a random third act after the third act.
Yeah.
But I would also agree that if it was studio interference, Matt Reeves made it work with just the guy saying that he's vengeance and like Batman needed to realize that him just going out and beating the fuck out of people encourages other people to go out and beat the fuck out of people. But they don't have the moral code and the reasoning behind it that Bruce does.
I get that. It does kind of feel like, though, the movie was, like, wrapped up and sort of done, and, like, the conflict had kind of been resolved, but then they realised, like, they need a Batman fight scene, because there hasn't really been many. So they're like, let's put this in.
I really hope for the next one they can kind of realise my enjoyment out of this. I got the most enjoyment when Bruce was just walking around and looking at clues. Like, that was when I was absolutely fucking on board with this.
The
I don't
detective
think
stuff.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, was it finally on screen the world's greatest fucking detective? Finally, not the world's greatest. I put this into my computer and it told me who it was.
Here's a brick. Let me scan it with a laser. Now I've got a
let me use other shotguns to blow up walls, and now I know which gun it was. Therefore, who bought this gun?
This
guy.
makes perfect sense.
Yeah, exactly. It was actually him down on it, investigating stuff. What do you want to see from other than Robin? What do you want to see? I know you love Robin. What do you, especially villain-wise, what do you want to see come up in the sequels?
I don't want to see the Joker. I'll be honest with you. I don't. We've seen the Joker enough. Let him stay back for a while. Why were those why were the Joker boys at the beginning as well? I
Well,
guess
that's
maybe he's already about in the world, isn't
well,
he? So,
he's already in Arkham, clearly. So like,
yeah. So maybe they have already met or
oh,
something.
real quick, just because I think we should talk about it. What do you like? I know we like Barry Keoghan as an actor. What do you actually think of what little we've seen of his Joker so far?
It was fine, but it was just. I don't know. It was fine. Yeah, sure. It was a good little laugh. Like there's nothing wrong with it. Like I'm sure it'd be a good performance. I just don't care. I just don't
Yeah.
care about the Joker. I've seen it time and time again. Like
Bring back Cameron Monaghan, I say.
yes, exactly.
Mate, jokes aside, I know Gotham did some really dumb shit with him in the last couple of seasons.
Yes.
I don't know if you ever saw any of that makeup stuff that came out at the end.
I don't think so. No.
The first episode where he just plays a very unsuspecting tortured kid called Jerome. And then right at the end, he does this U-turn into this magnificent, subtle Joker performance. But it's hammy and it's stupid and it's campy. But it's not ha Batman ha 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 ha. Like you believe it at the same time. I was genuinely all for like seeing him in this.
Isn't he Cal from Fallen Order?
Yeah, the same
It is
dude.
him, yeah, same dude. I thought it was.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a good actor.
But you think we're tired of Joker?
Yeah, I do. It's especially with Joker the movie. Like it's relentless. It's again with Bruce's parents. It's just forced down our throats over and over again, and I'm just tired of it. Just do something else. Batman has like apart from Spider-Man, Batman has the fucking biggest rogues gallery ever. Do something else, all right? We don't need to see the Joker constantly. There are fucking plenty of things to pull from. Victor Freeze, Mr. Freeze is a great villain. I'm sure they can find a grounded way of doing Mr. Freeze, which would really, really work. So,
I I would actually really like to see the balls on a studio to just not touch the Joker and just be like, hey, our strength is this interpretation of Batman. Our Gotham looks the best it's ever looked.
yes.
This is a good trilogy. We don't need the Joker in it. What was I going to say? There's something about the Joker. The one thing I didn't like about at the time in the cinema, I was like, this is fine. But again, I'm kind of the same opinion. The Joker doesn't need to happen. And I'm a bit jokered out. I wasn't too much of a fan. I just thought it was a bit bad writing almost. It was just a horrible line. He was like, "You've done well. Now it's my turn," or whatever. Like it was very much like, "Well done. You did so well. We're gonna be good friends." It's like it's like the movie knows that we know who the Joker is, and we know that he's the worst one of them.
Yeah.
It was like, and for me, it just kind of. Paul Dano did such a fucking amazing job in this movie, and then just his final resolution scene to put him in a scene with the Joker where he's just completely overshadowed. I was a bit like, okay.
Yeah, it like I say, it just felt very much tacked on and really unnecessary to the overall movie. I feel like the movie overall would have been better without it. It doesn't necessarily take away from the movie at all. It's just not something I needed in there at all. But again, I think Warner Brothers are scared when it comes to this shit. They're like, people want Batman and the Joker. They need Batman and the Joker because it's Batman and the Joker. So put that in there. Make sure that's in there. But I don't necessarily think it's needed at all.
It's because Joker made $1 billion at the box office, and it's just like, for fuck's sake.
Yeah.
I really, really don't need this movie has already tackled online kid is way too toxic for his own good.
Do Hush. Hush is great. They can actually build off what's been set up with the Thomas Wayne shit in this, and build into Hush. Oh, also we didn't really talk about it, but Falcone is really good in this as well. Carmine Falcone as
fantastic,
Catwoman's dad in this. I really liked all that sort of stuff. He was great as well.
No, yeah, massively. So you want to see a Victor Freeze? You want to see Hush?
Victor Freeze, Hush. Who else? I don't know. Fucking the Condiment King. Why not throw him in there?
Who's the Condiment King?
He's just some guy who squirts ketchup and mustard.
Is he from comics? Or is he
he's a real Batman.
We want to see the Condiment King in the sequel. Yeah. That sounds amazing.
Throw him in there.
Riddle me this, Condiment King just squirts as a ketchup. He's like, Batman, I could have blown up the city, but instead, haha, mustard attack.
He's in the Lego Batman movie, so you should
Oh,
watch
no,
it.
I was going to say, actually, for this more grounded, gritty realization of Bruce Wayne, it'd probably be like the Condiment King would be like a disgraced KFC employee who makes mustard gas and throws it around Gotham.
Exactly. Yeah. Two-Face would be quite interesting to see.
Yeah. A lot of people
it's
want
kind of
John
been done.
Bernthal for that.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but I saw the fan casting and it looks quite interesting, but fan casting is stupid.
Yeah,
so.
fan casting is stupid. Well, John Bernthal would be quite good, though, I guess.
Yeah. Fan casting is stupid. Let's discuss it, though.
Yeah. But anyway, there's really a lot of ways this could go. But build the Bat family and get him a new suit, because I don't like this one.
Oh, really? What is it? The cowl? Is it the ears?
It's too armored, I think.
I mean, it came in handy. I don't think he's going to unarmor after.
But I
this
did.
movie.
But I think I think it came in too handy. He was just like he took like a shotgun to the chest and he was fine. Like
I don't think he was fine.
he was walking about. If you got shot with a shotgun and you can walk about afterwards, that's a win in my book.
That is fair, yeah. He was more fine if after compared to me if I'd been hit by a shotgun in the chest.
Yes.
That being he was alive and still had anything resembling a chest.
Exactly. I did like the symbol comes out and it's like a fucking like a batarang or whatever. That was quite cool. But I don't like it. It's too armored, I think. I'd like something a little bit more fabric-y and stuff that's still armored but doesn't look as armored. Because then that's the point of Batman. You don't necessarily know that it's armored. So
I saw early on a rumor that came out. You know when they released that test footage and everyone was like, "Oh my god," because it established the tone and everything.
Yeah.
I saw early on that because the bat symbol in his bat suit is made of like the gun pieces.
Yeah.
And
the
I saw early on
killed his parents or whatever.
Yeah, but I'm glad they didn't stick to that because Imagine how Bruce would have got it. He goes down to the GCPD and is like, hey, I'll give you a lot of money for that gun that you've got impounded in evidence. They're like, why do you want the gun that killed your parents? He's like, a little keepsake. That's the weirdest keepsake ever. He's like, I'm definitely not Batman. It's not dark. Don't look into it. Like, I'm just a regular billionaire that wants this specific gun. But yeah.
That would have been very, very weird.
I like the exposed jawline on the cowl. Finally, it doesn't feel like an awful mouthpiece that is just there, like a hole cut in a balaclava.
Yeah, looks good. Do
you like the Catwoman's cat mask? Is basically a balaclava that has just got turn up ends that kind of vaguely resemble a cat. I like that. I thought it was really clever.
Not really. I don't know. Just like. I get that it's like a proto costume or whatever, but I don't know, just go into it, I say. But
fair enough.
Yeah.
You very much want them to lean into the dumb.
I do. I really do. It's always more fun when they do. But again, I know this world isn't necessarily that. And while that's not exactly what I want, again, I'm okay with it because I did really enjoy this movie. It surprised me a lot how much I enjoyed it. Again,
fucking surprised me, mate, that you enjoyed this. I came out of that movie and I was dead certain.
Why? Why?
I don't know, but I think it's like part of me was really hoping that you'd stick to your ethos of like don't judge it on what it wasn't.
Yes.
And I was really hoping you would, but then I also know that you enjoy like you enjoy having an opinion on Batman. I know you do. You enjoy your opinions on Batman, which are not too they're not as mainstream as others.
Yeah, I'm
and I was like
different.
Yeah, exactly. You're so cool and different to the others. But yeah, no. I thought you weren't going to like it, but I'm pleasantly surprised that we can now appreciate this film together.
It's very good. I think it's better than The Dark Knight. I genuinely do. So
I think comparing them is odd because they're very different movies.
They are very different. Yeah.
Out of personal enjoyment at the minute, and I know it's just because I've just seen it and it's new and fresh.
Yeah.
But at the minute, I prefer this iteration of Batman and Bruce Wayne.
Absolutely, yeah. And I don't think that's why I prefer it to Dark Knight. Don't get me wrong, Dark Knight's a great movie, but in terms of like a Batman movie, that isn't really one. It's like it's more just like a fucking guy in a weird costume or whatever.
It's
But
nice to see a
this
Batman that doesn't kill by proxy as well.
exactly, yeah.
It's like so many directors have had their take, and like Zack Snyder just went fuck it. He murders people. He
Yes.
breaks their neck for fun.
Yeah.
That was a thing. But then even like Nolan Batman, where he's like, you cross that line, you become as bad as them, blah blah blah. Like, but you're still killing so many people by blowing them up with your Batmobile, or running them down, or like flattening some sort of thing.
Or like running them over with a train or whatever, like he did with Liam Neeson.
Yeah, I don't have to kill you, but I don't have to. I don't know.
I don't have to save you, which was
I don't
like,
have to take the
that's
Hippocratic
killing.
oath.
That's killing them, Bruce. Okay, you just
Yeah.
killed him.
If you have the ability to save and you don't, you're killing them.
You're killing them.
Yeah.
But no,
I
this
saw a fan casting for Tom Holland as as Robin.
Oh, no.
I was in tears laughing at it.
don't do that.
No. I love Tom Holland, but Spider-Man's fine. I don't need to see Tom Holland in absolutely every IP.
Well, he's also too old as well. So
Yeah.
don't do that. He's like 25 or whatever. So
Yeah, he is. I was about to say he's our age, but he's my age. You're an older
he's
man
your
than
age. Yeah,
him. Yeah.
he's younger.
He's a man
than
like me in his spry early mid-20s.
Stop adding shit. Where did this early mid-20s come from?
All right, Nathan, you're approaching your later 20s than me. Yeah, but overall, good movie.
Cool time indeed. Yeah, I think I might see it again. I enjoyed it, so I'll take another trip out to the local Cinemaplex.
Yeah, buy your hot dogs. You still a hot dog man at the
No,
cinema?
I don't really get anything these days. More just a drink. Just
Oh, okay.
yeah, I'll take a Fanta, a Tango, whatever kind of orange flavored soda they have on tap. I'll take one of those.
Has your local Plex got a machine where you can add flavors to the beverages?
It does in the VIP section. I don't think it does for like the regular plebs though. For like the
Yeah, for those dumb fucks that
Yeah,
can't afford it, like
for
me.
the common folk. Yeah.
I'm upset that you didn't get a chance to see this in 4DX or whatever the fuck it is.
I was gonna go see it in fucking Screen X, but then well, first of all, I got COVID, so I couldn't. But then I thought I don't need like 7 screens all around me or whatever. It's just.
Also, I heard it's so immersive that, like, at regular intervals, the Riddler will come out every 5 minutes or so and ask you a riddle, and if you can't complete it, then the film just stops.
And he bludgeons your head in with a hammer.
No. Every time the films stop, it restarts from the beginning. So this movie could potentially become a 24-hour event or something.
Oh, it's something we didn't really talk about. One thing I just thought was really funny was when the Riddler was like in Arkham at the end, and he was just sounding like a whale. And he was just going like,
yeah. Yeah, he was doing that, wasn't he? He was very. I found like, and a lot of people are saying this online. He was very much kind of like coded as someone with autism.
Yeah.
Like he seemed because like different kind of environments distressed him. His head was extremely like analytical in his mind and stuff. But I thought it was a good performance. Like it was definitely like a bit funny at certain points.
It was a really good performance. I did like they kind of make you think that he knows he's Bruce Wayne. Like that's not the case. That's not what happens. But there is like a whole scene where Bruce thinks he's been outed and he thinks like Gordon has just been told on the phone and all this sort of shit. And there's like some really good tension throughout those scenes. But that doesn't necessarily end up being the case. But it's a good little like red herring sort of thing.
Yeah, there are a lot of red herrings in this movie. To be fair, a lot of plays on expectation of like classic fucking shit that we know to expect as audience members of like 100 Batman movies. so yeah, no, but overall, good movie. Glad I watched it. Had fun.
Good movie, a lot of fun.
Do you reckon Colin Farrell will ever take the spotlight as Penguin, or do you think? Because I know he won't be the second movie villain.
No,
because they put too much of him in this one for him to be a key in the second one. But do you think he'll just always be part of Gotham's seedy underworld and like there to assist at random points?
Yeah, probably. I think that would actually kind of work out quite well for him.
Yeah,
to be honest,
I do too.
Yeah,
He'll get more paydays as well.
Yeah, he'd be quite good at that. Oh, I also always enjoy seeing Batman just beat the shit out of people in nightclubs. That's always fun.
A good sequence. I do like it when they're not when it's not Chris Nolan's imagining of what a nightclub is, where it's just
a
random
weird
people.
black void, and then...
Yeah, a black void with blue strobe lights, and they're just playing some nondescript, royalty-free techno music.
Yeah.
This one felt like someone had actually been to a club before, which was good. Can you imagine Chris Nolan at a club?
No, I can't.
I'd love it actually because no one sits down.
Very good.
Oh, that was the best zinger I've ever done on this pod.
That was really good.
Well, on that note, Nathan, I think we'll wrap it up, shall we?
We shall indeed.
It's never going to get better than that. I hope you stayed to the hour mark. Right, lovely. If you enjoyed this, new episodes go live Fridays at 10 a.m. Next week, we're going to be doing this.
You should be terrified.
Why?
Because
I will be taking over the city.
what?
Batman will stop you? He always stops you.
No, he doesn't.
What about that time with the two boats?
This is better than the two boats.
Wow, OMG. It's a real time over here, isn't it? Doing Batman stuff.
Well done.
We could have actually made that tease quite vague, actually, because it's just a load of voice actors doing stuff.
Exactly.
But yeah, who knows? Maybe you figured it out, maybe you didn't. Maybe it's Lego Batman. Who said that? Not me.
Stop. Why do you always do this?
Gotta be fun, Nathan. I'm keeping it fresh.
It's not fun and it's not fresh.
Social media, at Another Happy Pod on Twitter and Instagram. Give us 5 stars. If you don't, we will throw a weird carpet puller upper utensil on under your on your head. How's he kill him? He kind of just charges into him, doesn't he?
He just screams. He just goes.
Yeah, he just goes, "Ah!" And then he's dead.
Yeah.
But yeah, good
Power
shit.
of the Riddler.
The power. I just thought about that. The power of love, but instead with the power of Riddler. The power of the Riddler.
Riddle me this. Fucking end this podcast now.
It's not a riddle, Nathan, but I will. I'll do it right now.